Ms. Rector, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
We sure can. We'll let you go first.
Thank you. I've got to head to Campbell County to a ball game. Um, just kind of some updates here. Our spring semester has started, which means we have completely turned over all new classes. Students are going in different directions, and so are teachers. So, the first couple of days back from Christmas are always a little bit chaotic, just getting everybody back into a not their old routine, but a brand new routine. Classes at the TCAT Center have already started. So, those students attended class today, and so those classes have fully started already. Roan State classes do not start until the 18th, so that's still got a couple of weeks before those students who are taking dual enrollment with Roan State before they start. And then one thing we're excited about, we've got a new work-based learning class that we're doing with our CTE department. Mr. Ben Bruce is heading that up, and so that's a new class that we've started this spring. So we're anxious to get that off the ground and going. But lots of new things going on here this semester. One exciting thing I want to tell you guys about today. Part of our as you all probably, some of you may remember, several years ago, we instituted the Tier 2 early graduation program. And that's something that we've done for the last several years. And there's several requirements that those students have to meet to even qualify to be in that program. Then there's a limit of the number of students that we will accept, and then they have some pretty stiff benchmarks of things that they have to get completed in order to qualify and then actually graduate early. And today I had my final graduation meeting with the most students I've ever met with on the first day returning back to school. And we met with 14 students today, and all 14 of those students had completed their program and requirements. That's the most that we've ever had at one time at the beginning of a semester. So very, very proud of those students. Got a couple more to do this week, but had three of those students who are already enlisted and in the military, and are actually all three of those students are actually leaving out this week. And so very proud of all of those students, a lot of students that have already got full-time jobs lined up, and not just jobs, but career paths. And so I just wanted to share that with you all as a success for that program. It's not something that works for every student, but for some of our students, it's wonderful, and it really works well for them. And so we're very, very proud of those students who were able to complete their graduation requirements today. Um, New museum director, want to give you guys an update on that. We did officially name a new Museum of Scott County director, Mr. Chad Patton. Very excited to have him. He's a tenured history teacher who's been with Scott High since 2011, a very valued member of our faculty, and we're all excited to have Chad lead this project, and we look forward to his new ideas and guidance as we move forward with that long time project. This spring semester, we will be taking time to kind of review things and transition. It's a lot in one project, and so we'll take these first several weeks here to really dive into that before we look into really beginning anything new of that sort. Get him in and get his feet wet on those things. So very excited to have Mr. Patton, and I'm sure he'll be out to talk to you guys soon enough, but wanted to go ahead and announce that for everybody. EOC scores were released today. Teachers will have those scores tomorrow, and hopefully we will have those updated grades for those fall EOC classes posted by Friday. Remember, those EOC grades are 15% of those courses. So again, we because of the way that testing is, we have to leave at Christmas break without having those grades completed, but hopefully that will be completed by the end of this week, so those students will be completely finished, have those grades finished up, and then of course they're already moved into their spring classes. And then the last thing, I just want to kind of make an announcement of just encouraging everyone, students, parents, please make sure that your child is attending school, and attendance is very very important. We have a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of flexibility and a lot of things that we can do with students if they're here. But if they're not, it makes that very difficult. So there's not a lot that we can do for students to help them out when they're not here. So I just want to encourage students and parents to please make sure that your child has good attendance. Now, we all know that there's illness, and I'm not talking about quarantines or isolations. Those things, we've got things that are set up for that. But I'm just talking about general everyday missing school. Please make sure, in fact, even now with the school that children have missed over the last year and a half just because of COVID, it is paramount that they're in school physically as much as they can be. So if they're not sick, we just encourage students to have good attendance and encourage parents to check their Power School apps. It's very convenient now. You can literally see when a child is marked absent as soon as they're marked absent. So it makes it really easy to keep up with whether what your child's attendance is. So we encourage good attendance, and I just wanted to mention that at the beginning of a semester. And it's always, if people have questions, they can always call the school and ask about those things. They can always call the school. Parents can. We can give them their child's attendance. But again, I just want to start the semester off on a good foot. And the one thing that everybody can do to start off well is to come to school. So we just want to encourage them to do that. That's all that I have, unless you have questions for me, Miss Hestra.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Tanya, do you want to go next?
I will. I really do not have anything for the agenda. I don't have anything to talk about yet at this point, other than to congratulate our Teachers of the Year that were nominated for Pre-K through 4, which is Miss Shannon Jeffers, and in grades 5 through 8 is Miss Angela Carson. Again, we could have nominated so many of our teachers, any of our teachers, but we are proud that they're going to represent us with that voting that's going to happen next week. And again, as Ms. Rector said, we are in the spring semester. We have about 60 some odd days, and we'll do our state test, which is kind of odd to wrap my mind around that and with everybody else. And like you said, attendance is so very important, especially we know that the COVID numbers are going back up again, this lovely flu or whatever else is going on. We're still going to try to maintain that sanitizing, cleaning everything, doing the best that we can to keep everybody as germ-free as possible. But again, we know that that's going to happen. So thankfully, with all of our laptop initiatives, those teachers and students can keep in contact. If they are sick, those teachers are live. They'll record all their lessons. So they're actually going to have that teacher with them in their pockets, so to speak. So, but other than that, we're just moving right along with this new spring semester.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Cash, you want to go next?
Yes, I don't have a whole lot, like Ms. Tanya. Had a great day in service yesterday. Miss Roberts came and talked to our math teachers, and Dr. Beth Blevins came and worked with our ELA teachers. It was a good day. Basketball, still in basketball. We got a away game Thursday at Sunbright, and then next week of the regular season play. I think we have Robbins at home on Monday and at Huntsville on Thursday, and then tournament starts the week after that. So wrapping up, getting towards the end of basketball season. We might be behind. The second 9 weeks in on Friday that we got out, we haven't started report cards home. Ours will go home Thursday at Fairview. And then that's all I have, unless you got anything.
Okay,
And I want to say too, I appreciate a lot of you've reached out to me in the last couple weeks. I appreciate your thoughts and your prayers and your messages. It means a lot. I'm not good at the word. I know people, I don't know what to say. Well, I don't know what to say either, but other than thank you for your thoughts and your prayers, I really appreciate it.
We're so sorry to hear about the passing of your father too.
Thank you.
Okay, Miss Amy Jeffers, you want to go next?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm kind of like Scott and Tanya. I really don't have anything for the agenda, and since we just got started back, I do want to congratulate our teachers of the year, Miss Tracy Sexton in 2nd grade and Miss Tammy Russ in 5th and 6th math. And we're still in basketball season. I think we've got about 3 games left, and then we'll be finished. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Miss Goodman?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like everybody else. We just kind of keep repeating the same stuff over and over. Yesterday, we had a great day of in-service. There was a lot of learning going on. Everybody was excited to be back and see each other. The kids were excited to be back at school today. It's always good to have them back in the building. We do play Robins this coming Thursday. We want to congratulate Miss Sharon Woodward. She is our Teacher of the Year. We're very, very proud of her. And I hope that I'm not ending this on a bad note. But in the last couple of hours, and this is just to kind of, I guess it's a smack in the face of the reality again. I've already had 2 teachers. One of them has tested positive with Omicron, and then I have a teacher that's going to have to be quarantined. And right before we started our work session, I had a parent call, and their child has tested positive. So we're like Miss Tanya, we're going to keep everything as clean as possible, and we're going to do everything that we can to keep the kids safe. But the reality is it's already here, so we're going to do the best that we can and keep going as far as we can go. We do covet everyone's prayers, and that everybody just stays well and healthy, and we can finish up the school year.
Okay, thank you. Miss Stanley with Winfield.
Hi. To repeat a lot of what somebody else has said, we had in service yesterday. We had some great activities going on, and we did have a celebration, and kind of a sad celebration in some ways, that Miss Vaden has retired. Yesterday was her last day, and we were terribly sorry to see her go. But we do send her our best wishes for her retirement, and I know that she's going to make the best of every day of that. So we are excited for her. Miss Brandy Harris is taking that position on, and we're excited to have Brandy in that spot, and think she's going to be a marvelous asset to our administrative team. In saying that, that does leave Ms. Harris's teaching position open. So if there are any teachers out there who have grades 5-8 certification, please call me immediately, because we are looking to fill that spot as rapidly as possible. Also, we are searching for a special education teaching assistant. So if there are folks out there that could fill that slot, again, please call me at school or notify Mr. Hall and let us know that you're available for those jobs. Like Miss Donna said, we have one teacher in quarantine. We do have a bit of a start with COVID with students, but like her, we are taking all the precautions we can as far as sanitizing and that sort of thing. So we hope to keep that at as limited as possible. We did register 3 new students today, so we were excited to have them. Our Teachers of the Year, Miss Amanda Ayers is the Pre-K 4 Teacher of the Year, and Mr. Darby Laxton is the winner of the 5-8 division. Miss Ayers teaches 1st grade, and Mr. Laxton, bless his heart, teaches all of the middle school science and social studies. So he has an immense job there. But I'm just want to take this opportunity to say I'm extremely grateful for all of our staff, these teachers, as well as all of the other teachers, teacher assistants, and office staff that we have. I feel like Winfield is very blessed to have the people that we do. I don't have anything for the board agenda.
Okay, thank you. What about Ms. Hamilton with Huntsville Elementary? She's not with us. Okay, Mr. Shannon, we'll let you go next.
I will be brief. I don't have anything to report for CTE, for maintenance, or for textbooks. The only thing that I do have is 3 items for the agenda, asking for the board to allow us to bid some Spark equipment. This again is a grant that is made available through the state to support our CTE and TCAT dual enrolled programs. The items that we're requesting to be bid is a nursing services mannequin for our nursing services courses. Also for the TCAT, a CNC plasma table for welding, and then 3 welders for welding as well. And that's all I have for the agenda, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Greg Bond.
Couple of things. One, I'll start with, the good thing is that we've finally got enough parts and pieces in that we can start rolling out our racket panels.
Woo! Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But please approve the amendment that Amanda is going to put forward, because we've got to make sure we pay for those. So, yeah, we finally, we still haven't received the processors that we've been waiting on, but we came up with an alternate plan that will still provide new computers and everything to those stations, but we're just rejiggering things. So we hope to get those started. If we're not starting it by the end of this week, it'll be next. So finally happy to get that going. And it'll take some time. We've got we've still got 189 or so left to do, but that'll be our big focus for the remainder of the school year. Plus, every day is laptops. The other thing that I've got, and I'll lean on John on this a bit, but I've given you a 3-page kind of like explanatory letter about describing our consulting services agreement with the county, and we've been doing that for 8 or so years now. Things have changed. A lot more things are going on now than they were 8 years ago. So we are needing to restructure that. And so that's what that handout is. And I do not know if that requires a board vote. But
I don't think so. I don't think there's any formal agreement.
I've never seen it signed, but I know there is money involved. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of make you all aware of that and kind of give you the idea of what we're wanting to do going forward. We still want to help, but we just can't. We can't.
Circumstances have changed. I don't want to interrupt. And I understand circumstances have changed.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in the middle here, because I understand the county's need and I also understand the burden that has been on the technology center for years.
Yeah, and
even though there is not a formal agreement, I think it might behoove both parties to try to put something together at this point that wouldn't overburden the technology center, but where both parties would understand where we are and what's expected of the technology center.
And that's what I'm hopeful that this will do. Will kind of, it'll still let us help them when they need it and when we can, but we will no longer be under a kind of an obligation to drop what we're doing and go. And that is not usually a problem, but when it is, it's really a problem. So, and plus our work schedules are different than some of the departments. So anyway, it's all lined out in that, and feel free to ask me questions if you'd like. I just wanted to make you all aware of what I would like to see going forward, at least at this point. Continue to work with the county on that, but they've got to get to a point where they have their own department, because there's so many things, like cybersecurity is a huge one now, that it's gonna be a full-time job, just keeping track of all the different things on their side of the fence. Because I know it is on ours, and so, anyway, but other than that, I don't have anything.
Mr. Bowen, I've not had a chance to read your letter yet, but you said there was some money involved, approximately how much are we?
The contract began as a way to get one of our technicians from half-time to full-time. This was 8 years ago, so it was 15,000 approximately at that point. Some years later, with all the increases of the work and responsibilities, we worked with the county and they increased it to 25. And so they pay 25,000 a year for on-call IT support for all county departments. And so we provide it for each and every agency.
So basically, they're well getting their money's worth out of you.
Well, there have been times, yes. Like during the Christmas break, we had 8 different contacts and had to do 2 physical visits. And so that's our scheduled break, but, schools are different than other places. So what's, a day off for us is a normal work day for them. And so things like that have really we didn't think of, or I didn't think about it when we first did this, but those have really become the issue, is trying to schedule coverage and maintain my responsibility to the schools as well as our obligation to our agreement with the county. So we just got to scale it back because there's not enough of us, especially with all these laptops and stuff. It's just day in, day out.
So basically, like if you wanted to schedule to go somewhere over Christmas break, you can't all be gone.
Yeah, right. And even when we do schedule, what that means is I have to sacrifice one of my technicians a week of school time to account for that overage time. So,
There have been more than one instance where the technology center has been called to address, I don't know if I would say emergencies, maybe I should.
sometimes they're claimed to be emergencies.
Maybe emergencies, during the Christmas season.
Sometimes they really are.
Yes.
And I don't.
A few years ago, I do remember that it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into those details.
No.
I know that Greg remembers, but it's just not a situation that the parties need to continue with.
Right.
And
with going forward, I would like it to be more. Right now it's kind of an obligation. They have to obligate that money in their budget. Some think it's a great deal, some don't. We have to respond 24/7, 365. And so going forward, I would like to experiment with a kind of like a per incident type response. If it's been approved, if they get a PO and we do it, we can go do it. But there's no longer this thing over our heads that we have to be there during Christmas break, during fall break, on the weekends at 3 in the morning, We're just not staffed for that, plus all of the stuff that we're doing now post-COVID. So.
Would you also recommend or are you going to also recommend possibly that the schools contribute that 25,000 or whatever that the county was to make sure that employee still gets full-time? Or, I'm thinking that's probably an issue.
I talked with Amanda on this, and I don't want to say that that's not a big deal. That's not what I'm trying to infer.
Yeah.
But, especially with all this COVID money and all these things, that sum of money, the value of finding it, either me deducting it from my budget or finding some other funding source that we have, brings us as the school district more value, because I couldn't get a technician in here for that amount of money now, because the pay has increased and all that, and, I've already lost one technician this year just because, I think it got to be too much, not that he wasn't capable, it was frustrating dealing with all of these things. So, the sheriff's department used to have a full-time person years ago.
Yeah.
Just for your all's department. Now we take care of your stuff, and I'm sure you know, it's like, the other thing is, I don't feel like I'm providing as much as I'm capable to provide. And that's just because I don't have the time and all the coordination involved.
You spread too thin.
Yeah, it's really what it is.
That's the bottom line.
And that's the frustration that I hear from my guys is that, it's just, when I first requested this, it was me and Tom and Leanna. Josh was full-time technician. Andrew was the half-time. So we did this, and that brought Andrew on to a full-time role. Well, since then, we added Gary after that, and that's now where Steve's at. And now we've got Tony that's going, that handles all of the training and kind of he's more of our curriculum side. And it's just so much stuff just keeps getting, tech, and so I just feel that going forward, we need to not do the yearly contract. I still want to provide help, when dispatch calls me, and if it's at 2:00 in the morning, I'm taking that call, because, one of these days, I'm gonna be the guy that somebody has to call 911 for, so I get that. But it needs to be, and the other thing is, it was never set up so that this technician received kind of extra pay to go out and do that response. Once again, that was a failing on my part. We restructured it some years later to account better for that, but it still wasn't enough to really, bridge that gap. So, read through what I've got, if it makes sense, but feel free to ask me any questions. Like I said, I don't know if it requires any action or not, but that's just kind of my thought going forward.
I'm just thinking if you lose that 25,000 that the county's contributing right now through the contract, and if you need to make up for that, please ask us.
Okay, I appreciate that. I really do. That's you. When I come to you for money, please always know that I have exhausted every other avenue. I do not want to do that. So.
Did you outline your possible solutions in your letter?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Miss Amanda.
All right, just to give you some updates on a few things I'm working on. District plan, started working on it, that's due March 1st. We have to do an annual report for ESSER data collection, so that's opened up. They kind of closed the instrument, but we can still work on it. So they basically want you to compile data from ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3, what you spend it on, what you plan on spending on, what you're planning, all that stuff. So once I get that done, I'll give you all that report. Tennessee All-Core has started for this spring semester. Once the tutoring teachers and principals have chosen which students have been selected for that, they'll send home notes to the parents on that. Strategic compensation payout, I had a teacher ask me about that today. Me and Ms. Linda's looked at the data, but we'll revisit the data one more time just to make sure we don't miss out on anybody, and we'll be paying that out hopefully the next payroll. Had a couple of questions about hazard pay for teachers, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew, and I gave you a copy of this email that I had emailed Mary Ann Dursky. This bill didn't pass, so there is no hazard pay for teachers or part-time employees. So,
and will you also explain who Mary Ann Dursky is, please?
She's the head chief financial officer at the state, so she's the highest person. And she emailed back today, and I was very appreciative of that because I know she's very busy. But so if anybody would have known, she would have known. So when she emailed back and said that bill did not pass, so there's not any hazard pay out there for teachers for COVID related. So if you get any questions from that, that bill didn't pass. And then I'll let you a copy of your quarterly mileage. I think that was October, November, and December. That's from the GP budget. If y'all have any questions about that mileage, let me know. And I've got several items for the agenda. First one is GP amendment number 6. This is a large amendment. If you want to look there, you get a copy of that. It does reflect the 7 buses that Mr. Bowles has requested, 2 vehicles, and then lights for the football field. And it's got the back pay that you all have approved, and Miss Linda had some pre-K budget adjustments. Mr. Gregg mentioned something about approving the amendment. What is on there is $350,000. So what's going to happen is GP will loan that to federal, and that gives Ms. Delilah the federal cash flow, because we have so many large projects going on. Like the HVACs, the boilers, the roofs, all of the technology equipment, and then we have a lot of payroll. So basically, it just helps her to keep things going, because we have to spend it first, and then she has to request it down. So that's also on that amendment. Then you'll see federal amendment number 6. That $350,000 is reflected on that, and that's just the transfer in from GP. And then once all these big projects are over, we'll just transfer that back to GP. So it's not going anywhere. And then also on there is the Project Aware 2.0 budget. That's $360,000. And you have a copy of that budget as well. Let's see. And then the last thing I have is for the board to bid out, or if you all would do the finance director to do bids for cabinets. And these cabinets will be for the Family Resource Center, and then for the nurse's office in some of the schools. Not all nurse's office will need cabinets, but it'll be over the $10,000 mark, and that comes from the ELC grant. And that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions.
Okay, thank you. You can plenty. Miss Linda.
Okay, I have placed on your desk up there a copy of our building level teachers of the year. Those are decided at such a critical time, right here before Christmas in December. And I do have all the schools except Scott High, and they are still working on theirs, and they were totally so busy with EOCs trying to get all that stuff done. Honestly, they've not had time, but there's still time for them to finish that. So this is the 2022-23 school year, and the reason it's 22-23, which seems like it's too early, it's not really completed until the fall of 23, because the process first, we decide on our building levels, our principals decide on the building levels. Then by January the 12th, they have to turn those building levels, turn in their application to us, and we have a judging, and by January the 16th, the district levels are turned in to the state. And then by February 27th, it's the regional level decision where they have to fill out, another part 2. And then by April the 1st, and it just keeps going on until actually it finishes up in the fall at what used to be our lead conference. So seems like really soon, 22-23. I wanted to say, 21-22, but anyway. So we are in that process right now. And on your desk, you can see our building levels, and I'll just read those off because we are very proud of them. We have some really great teachers. At Birchfield, pre-K4 is Shannon Terry Jeffers. She's kindergarten. 5 through 8 at Birchfield is Angela Carson. She's 5 through 8 math. Fairview Carol Dopp, 2nd grade for pre-K4, and 5 through 8 is Janet Lloyd, 4th and 5th ELA. And then Huntsville Elementary, pre-K4 is Robin Sexton. She's 3rd grade ELA. And Huntsville Middle, 5 through 8 is Sharon Woodward, 6th grade ELA. And at Robbins, pre-K4 is Tracy Sexton, 2nd grade. And 5 through 8 is Tammy Russ, 5th and 6th math. And at Winfield, Amanda Ayers, 1st grade. And then 5 through 8, Darby Laxton, 6 through 8, science and social studies. So those are our building level, and hopefully we will have that decision made, hopefully, by the next school board meeting, because those do, next week, because those do have to be sent in to the state by January 16th. So that's that process, and we did just finish the OCs, as Miss Melissa mentioned. We did receive the raw scores available, and as you might know, the state's already preparing for spring. We have found out I think for sure that our testing is April 18th through April 29th for 3-5, and then a different date possibly for 6-8, which is April 18th to May 3rd, and then a different date for alternative math and ELA, the MOS, the second grade. So we pretty much have our dates finalized. So right now we are supposed to be checking the visibility tool because that's finalized in the end of January. So, I mean, we never get one thing finished until something else starts. And then our actual test training is in February, even though the test itself is not until April. We do have training in February. The other thing I just wanted to mention, which is a neat thing, you know, we've had all the training on the 360 reading and the fall reading training. So the state now is, and I'm going to give these to our instructional coaches tomorrow, applications for parents can fill out and actually receive in the mail for their students in kindergarten, first and second, a set of 7 decodable books. And so that's going to be a really neat thing. It's free, and they can just get those in the mail. So that's something new that the state has come out with. So, and that's all I have right now.
Okay, thank you. Miss Debbie.
Some things going on in special ed. I've been working on the juvenile detention monitoring. We have to have our paperwork uploaded January the 19th, and our monitoring will take place on February the 2nd. So trying to get a start on that. Our self-monitoring for federal programs opened up today, which is IDEA and also Miss Amanda's Title I. So we'll be working on that. Also just attending a lot of IEP meetings, starting up eligibility meetings, truancy meetings, TEIS meetings. And I did want to comment, Miss Melissa talked about some of the students in her Tier 2 program graduating early. We do have 5 special ed students that will be graduating early, and we are so happy about that. We were written up last year by the state because our special ed population, some of our students, when they do reach the age of 18, they end up dropping out. And so we were hit on that graduation and dropout rate. So any student that we can get through with a diploma, we are so happy. And I know several of the students that Joe Carver had given me the list of our special ed students, several of those students already have a job lined up. So we're just so pleased about that. I do have one thing for the agenda. You all have a copy of a contract laying up with your material. And this is just a contract for Peggy Sexton to come in and work maybe 2 days a week at the most with some of our students in the extended resource class and the CDC classes we have. When she's so much training in autism. So she is just such a valuable asset. When she retired, we used her a lot to sub, and I think she sort of got tired and just didn't want to do that, but she's ready now to go back. So we're happy that she's willing to come in and work with some of our students. And that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Did you have something, Amanda?
No, she's like,
I'm sorry.
Okay, Miss Paulette.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I would just like to say we had a great in-service yesterday with all of our staff at Central Office. They were all recertified in CPR, thanks to Miss Rosemary and also to Miss Jenny Martin. So I appreciate everything that they did. Also, I want everyone to know that there will be changes coming in the meals and school nutrition. They'll still meet as close to requirements as we can, but the shortages are still there. And I know everybody hears of the supply chains, but you know, if you may have, even if you've got money, it doesn't do you any good if you can't get what you order. So things are still difficult, and as of right now, I don't know when this is going to lift, but there will be there'll just be changes and less variety of items is all I can say, but there will be meals there, maybe not what we're always used to. Also, you should be able to find up there with you an amendment, food service amendment number 1. The PEBT grant monies did come in, and that was what was passed last month. And we need to do an amendment to move it from the revenue into the other salary side. So you should find that also up there with you. But that's all I have for the agenda. And unless you have something for me.
Okay, thank you. I'm not missing anybody.
Thank you very much. Just for some agenda items, would like to approve the Clinton Powell Educational Cooperative Membership. One thing to do, add to the agenda, as we always look at our salaries, Ms. Amanda and I discovered that one of our principals, accreditation committee that we belong to, the principal to be the highest paid person in the building. As we're going back and looking at all the salaries for everyone, we found out for the past 10 years, one of our principals was not the highest paid person in the building. Ms. Amanda has all documentation from finance, so we would like to get that approved and make sure we can get the back pay. It is Ms. Director at Scott High School, and I want to make sure that we get the money that was owed during that time to them. Ms. Amanda, like I said, has everything documented, has worked everything with finance, and has everything's been double, triple, quadruple checked as far as what is done. So she has that if anybody needs that with her. We'd like to add that to the agenda because that does need to be approved. That's all for the agenda that we have. We'd like to congratulate Mr. Chad Patton. It's exciting to finally get a director for the Museum of Scott County named. Chad needs our support, and he will bring new ideas and new things that will be good for the museum. And the museum has been fabulous. It's been probably the best educational tool under the guidance and the tutelage and the vision of Mr. Sexton that we've had probably in any system. Well, I think Mr. Patton has some new ways and creative things that can only add to that. So we're very excited for him to be started in that role. We did get new CDC guidance that we sent all the principal supervisors, and I'll get a copy to send a copy to you guys as far as the new quarantine guidelines and everything that's come from the CDC. Now, understand too that these are recommendations. These are not requirements. Everything they put out there is a recommendation. And like I said, each principal and stuff has a copy for the buildings. One thing we need to really be paying attention to here the next few days is the Supreme Court case dealing with the vaccine mandates. Now, if that is upheld and the vaccine mandate is put in place for the businesses where over 100 people, then we will need to sit down at that time, and I'll get with other directors, look at other systems. Also, we'll have to give Mr. Beatty, we'll have to come up with a policy for us if that is the case. So anyway, that is something for us to really be paying attention to here for the next few days. Along with that, very excited to get the new semester started. As we're off the ground running, you can listen and hear the supervisors and the principals. The second day back, and it's full swing and full go. And that's a compliment to our staff and our teachers and everyone's involved that we are ready when it comes to get back into school. As everyone mentioned too, as the virus is still going, we hope that for the most part of Scott County, our numbers have kind of gone like a little bit of a roller coaster, kind of up and down the last few weeks if you followed it. Because we felt like they'd be once we got through the break, that there would be a little bit of an uptick. We kind of hope that steadies out. Some good news I did get today from this Carrie Hammett at the health department was that over 500 people in the ages 12 to 17 past couple weeks have received the vaccine. Now, it's not all Scott High students or Scott County students, but she just gave me the age bracket of 12 to 17. So anyway, we're hoping that can kind of help control it and maintain. But looking at too, if you follow it, it looks like a lot of people who are vaccinated and with boosters and all that are still coming down with the virus. So just maintain, ask everyone to be safe and be diligent in what they do. Principal Mission basketball season is closing down for the middle schools. Within probably the next 2 weeks, we will start the district tournaments. Home sites for the higher seeds will be played at the host school, I think, for the first rounds. Then I think the semifinals goes to the Jellicoe this year. Y'all remember, guys?
Yes.
Jellicoe. So Campbell County is hosting. The semifinals will go to, for boys and girls, we'll go to Jellicoe High School. So if you get a chance, go out and support all your local middle school teams. The high school, about halfway through the season, as an old coach, you know, when it gets to this point in time, you're hitting the second leg. And as you get to February, you start getting geared up for the tournament. So the next few weeks will be exciting times for basketball throughout the county. Guys, that's all I have, unless y'all have any questions for me. I hope everyone had a great Christmas break and a happy new year. It's good to see everyone this year night also too.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Carlene, did you have anything?
No, just want to tell Mr. Cash again how sorry I am for his loss.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Didn't we get out of the SACS program?
We did, but it was already in place. We got out probably 5 years ago. That was already a rule that we had followed with that, yes.
I remember.
We are no longer in SAC, but we put that in place. That regularly was adopted. That we would
I
follow
was
that.
part of that.
And
Fairview was
part of
the
that,
first
yes.
school. That was.
And it was always mentioned that the principal had to be the highest paid.
Have other principals been checked?
Yes, absolutely. Everyone's been checked. Everyone. Yes, we have.
I remember when Ryan was here, that's when
Yes.
we got out of it.
Yes. We have checked, and she's, like I said, every principal's been double, triple, quadruple.
Oh,
You know, not with just Amanda, but with finance also checked.
well, that's when we got to go to 10 months.
Yes.
We were we were just like teachers.
Yes, so
And we got to go to 11 months, and they said even the 12 months, so that we would be.
we'll be the highest paid, yes.
Just to clarify, the Chad Patton filling, that was a filling of a position.
Filling of a position,
That's not a creation.
That's not creation, that's the one that
There's
Mr. Sexton,
no need
No,
to do a resolution on that.
that's the one that Mr. Sexton had.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
It's a good choice, by the way.
yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rector, and for searching.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Mr. Cash, I'm truly sorry about your dad. Death is hard. Even though dying is part of living, it's very hard to accept in that separation. I'm sorry.
Mr. Derrick.
Nothing for me today.
Okay. What about Mr. Silcox? He's not with us, is he? About Lou.
Let's see, Lou's up there. I think Lou's with us.
Mr. Stanley is probably under the house right now.
He's in the doghouse.
Have you got your water leak fixed yet?
Did you put him there?
I heard that, John. I just hope I have some water when he comes out.
All right. Tell him we missed him.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything before we go? Well, everybody have a good afternoon.